Welcome to the first installment of Chronicles of a New Black Woman by Dar-Luz. Hello to everyone. I am Dar-Luz. I am a Black woman, a single mother of two boys. I'm starting my chronicles as an adult who doesn't understand most traditions, most societal norms, the healthcare system, the education system, the political system, the economic system, etc., mainly of the Western world, because that is where I currently live. So, hell, I don't understand this system we call humanity, but that's another conversation for another day. What I am not is a voice for Black people. Here is why I say this. All my life, I have had different perspectives on things, different perspectives than my parents, different perspectives than my siblings, different perspectives than my friends, my coworkers, my bosses, doctors around me, different perspectives than men in my relationships, and different perspectives than the Black people around me. I don't even know. I'm not even sure that I can speak from a Black perspective, um, but rather that I'm speaking from a perspective of this avatar that I chose as a Black woman. This is my truth and the knowledge that I have received that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. Now that I have introduced myself, let me introduce you to my first chronicle. This is entitled The Message is Plain. So I never understood women wanting to force men to be in your children's lives. I get the fact that being a parent is tough, it's challenging, it's limiting to you, and boy, is it expensive. I know that you don't think it's fair that he gets to live his life and you feel that you have to give up everything to do the responsible thing and be the love and guidance that your child or your children need. Well, I'm here to tell you that that is what I did. That's the road I chose. Let me also add that we're speaking of a man in his 30s. This did not take place when he nor I were fresh out of high school or just coming into adulthood trying to find our way. So I'm talking about a very grown ass man. Um, and I have two boys. So the second child's father is even more grown than that, um, older than that. Um, so in this story, we will call the father Sleeper only because there is no point in giving him a title. Father, donor, dad, none of these labels mean anything to my son. Also, because like many, he is asleep and has not yet come into any sort of awakening in this human life experience. He is like an NPC, but yet still has an effect in a storyline. Let us start with Sleeper had no desire to be a part of my son's life. Oh, until I filed for child support. Once child support was knocking at his door, all of a sudden he wanted to be a father of the year. He wanted to get him every other weekend, and oh, he's going to be a regular part of his life. The child support they awarded wasn't much. It didn't even cover daycare. And he didn't provide health insurance. Fast forward, he came to me one day with a plea to remove the child support because it would affect his immediate employment opportunity. There are many details in between this nothing burger, but I'm not going to put Sleeper's life out there, not at this time. Let's just say he wasn't paying the child support anyway. I eventually agreed because locking up one more Black man for non-child support payment was going to change, wasn't going to change the world or even make him want to be a part of his son's life. I had the child support order removed. Do you know that he still had the audacity to call me and say the child support office sent him a letter and said, even though the order was removed, it didn't mean that he was still not meant to make payments and be responsible and still take care of the child. He asked me if I didn't mind calling their office and telling them that he didn't have to do that. I think I may have just hung up the phone because I don't even remember any more of that conversation. So I go back to the whole force thing and how I don't understand the good of forcing a man to be in a child's life. To me, like forcing anything else, what good will come of it? When a woman is in a relationship and we try and show and tell ourselves to death to try and get a man to see how worthy we are and that he should love us, you cannot make someone love you, right? Well, same difference. I was not going to force my son to be in a relationship with a man who didn't want to be in a relationship with him. Because, of course, after the child support order was lifted, he never spent time with my son again. He did maintain a relationship, or I should say, my son did maintain a relationship with his grandparents, his aunt, and his cousin as he grew up, but not his father. Uh, sorry, not with Sleeper. Society always said, and I would hear mothers always say, oh, he's the boy's father, or that boy's going to need a father, or boys need a good male role model in their lives. And this is not directed at my situation and my son. That is the overall tone that society puts out there. And this is what mothers, you know, all over the land seem to reverberate that, these people need to be in your children's lives for whatever reason society has told us they should. Now, regardless of their behaviors, regardless of whether or not they're decent role models and whether or not, again, they even want to be in their children's lives. Now, let's say that were true. What makes you think that the man that had to be forced into taking care of his child, why would I want that to be the go to for my child when he needed guidance and when he needed insight? What was he going to teach him about life and responsibility? Now, as I said, my son developed a relationship with Sleeper's side of the family, and every so many years, I would have brief conversations with him to ask him if he felt he wanted a relationship with Sleeper. My son's answer was always a resounding no. The answer is still no. And after the last time I asked him, I said that I would not ask him again. I was done with that chapter. And he was clearly done also. When I first started asking him and having those conversations with him, me, my son, I made sure to tell him that I wanted to hear his voice and wanted truly to know what he wanted and not what he thought I wanted to hear. When he said that he had no desire to have a relationship with Sleeper, I proceeded to tell him that he would never have to worry about having to answer to anyone for his decision because Sleeper never had to answer to anyone for the decision he made not to be in his life. My son's name is Nile, like the river that runs south to north, which is, many say, flows upstream. He is a leader. He steps to the beat of his own drum. He unapologetically owns who he is. Niall says he's happy, even though our possessions are few. He never has to study and gets A's in school and never gets into trouble. As he became older, I don't think the pressure was as great to have the traditional mother father household. There's now a much larger representation of single parent households, two moms, two dads, and even those labels are, sorry, even those labels, as we know, will become a thing of the past. I'm saying this to say that as he became older, I don't think it was so much of a thing for him as other kids were different too. So, not having a dad in his life didn't make him feel ostracized from his peers, especially after we left Georgia and he was able to experience another part of human culture. He says he doesn't regret any of the decisions that I made regarding Sleeper. How do I know this? Because I've asked him. I included his feelings and what he wanted along the way. I made sure that he knows he can talk to me about anything. In his manhood, how whatever his successes and failures, I never want him to cast blame on the fact that he didn't have a father in his life. How do we know he's not a better person because he didn't have sleeper in his life? Everyone is not equipped to be leaders or guides for children. That might be part of why the world is so fucked up. We keep forcing these broken societal traditions and systems on the next generation. There is a lot of love in our family, and that is the one thing I would not tolerate is a lack of love and like in our household. His relationship with his little brother is not perfect, but they do have a strong bond. I'm okay with knowing that I made the decisions that led to us being the family that we are today. And I made those decisions with him, with them. Ever since I felt they were old enough to understand and articulate to me what they wanted. My children have a voice and I see them. When I was growing up, I had a lot to say about my life and who I was or was always becoming. But no one ever listened to me. No one ever cared. When we get older and we say that we don't want to become our parents, I truly wear it as a badge of honor. I give my children their voices, I hear them, and they know that we're on this life's journey together, always becoming. I am here to guide them in their journey and give them tools along the way. I am not here to necessarily tell them who to be. That part is up to them. So, before I end this, I will say oftentimes the message is clear. Who should be in their lives, your children's lives, and who shouldn't be. Just like any other relationship in life, use discernment and don't let society tell you what you have to do and allow your children to become victims of parental abuse by way of someone always promising that they're going to be there and yet they never show up. Someone always promising that they're going to do something and they never come through. um, Someone promising to always love them but then always falling short of delivering. Make your own choices, and when you go within, you have a guidance within you that will give you the direction as a parent, and know that if this is your situation, you are enough and you will have everything along the way that you need to provide for your children. Because remember, they chose you. This concludes today's Chronicles of a New Black Woman by Dar-Luz. Until next time, remember that the universe begins with you and I.